meeting to order. Okay, I'll do that again. I would like to call the meeting to order. Old business, none. So the new business, resolution 23-8. Do I need to read it or is everybody good? Should I read it for the record?
You can read it out, just the headline for the record.
Okay, resolution, the city of Binghamton Water Street Development Corporation will accept a guaranteed maximum price of $22,110,245 for the development of the parking garage and $3,050,300 for the 6th floor podium by United Pike Development JV Limited or Limited Liability Corporation. Okay.
Basically, what this is a month ago or longer than that now, we approved the contract that we had to build a parking garage. And there's been delays in it, and we've worked out an MOU between the Pike Development, the housing developer, and the city and Water Street Development. That the cost of this could go up $50,000, not a dime more than that. Okay, but they're gonna have to document it to us, okay, based off of when things have been going. So 50,000 out of the 21 million, a fairly small amount of money in the whole thing, but it was one of the things that we had to do to push this thing through. Hopefully
Wait longer to be more.
And hopefully I will have a contract for you signed tomorrow, Ron.
Great.
Okay.
Great.
We got all parties working on this, just finalizing the clarifying.
Good
Yes.
news.
So
What's the 6th floor podium exactly? What is that?
the 6th, so you're gonna have 5 floors of parking, okay? With the first floor being more or less like on-street parking, the handle like the retails where people can go in for a quick half hour, pay their $1 or whatever it is, and pay at a kiosk right there. The other 4 floors will be for monthly or long-term parkers. They'll go through a different gate to get in there, okay? The 6th floor is where we have to create what they call a podium to hold the housing units,
Oh.
okay? So they can attach the housing units to the top.
How many housing units on top of that?
122 is the last,
So how many floors is that?
another 5 or 6. I'm not sure on that
You're
today.
looking at a 12-story building.
Yes, it's gonna be pretty high up overlooking the river.
The second highest building, most
Yeah,
functional.
the podium, reinforces the structure to hold the house.
It's basically all steel. It's about a $3 million cost,
So
okay?
as far as for retail shopping, is that first floor gonna be enough for like your Christmas shoppers and all that are going downtown? If they're gonna see this
Well, they have mostly,
parking garage and they're gonna
they
say,
have
wait a
more
minute.
than the first floor.
Well, you said the other floors are.
There's
No, that's for the quick in and out type of.
Yeah.
the first floor has a total of like, I'm gonna say 60 spots, okay? If Boscov's people and the other retailers are coming in and out, and they're not spending the whole day there, that should be a good number.
Well, you've talked to Carl.
Yeah,
and
the rest of the
stuff.
floors are open to the public as well. He's just talking about street level.
Yeah, I'm just talking street level.
Okay, but if the other floors are assigned, because they're monthly,
They won't all be
Yeah.
filled.
It
That's
works.
not what he- that's
The
not what he
flow of
said.
it works,
okay.
because the monthlies are out early and then they come back in and blah, blah, blah.
And it's more expensive to park in long-term parking, correct?
It's actually shorter the parking and long-term parking,
So,
yes.
because they'll use the same kiosk system on the first floor, they'll use a different payment system like they use in the other parking garages
Yes.
on the upper floor. But it'll still be open to the public plus monthlies.
Yeah, this is something they do.
Example being, Chris, the monthly parkers, we don't want parking on the first floor. Okay, their card's not gonna get them in and out of there. We want them to park on the higher floors.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a very good way of doing it.
And actually, we're setting up a meeting today to go through the right system to put in there to manage the whole thing.
So how many spaces total?
It's gonna depend on a couple things when all said and done. Minimum is 488. It could be as high as a little over 500.
How many were in the old one?
It had more than that. It was about 590.
But a lot of it was such bad space.
This is not gonna have any parking above Boscov's. This is only gonna be right up to Boscov's, and then there's gonna be a walkway over the parking, over the men's store.
And then sections had to be closed off at times because there were issues with them.
So the
But you're
walkway
comfortable,
over-
you're comfortable. You two are comfortable with how it's being done, right?
I'm
Because
very
you're the most,
comfortable.
you're the guys that have the most experience in this.
Yeah, I would say that I'm very comfortable with this, and I think that, you know, Chuck really should be commended for, you know, the work that he's done behind the scenes over a multi-year, multi-administration.
It's been very
time.
frustrating the last
The,
couple months, I could tell you that,
The-
dealing with this, because there's a lot of headaches.
I
out
know what
there.
you've done behind the scenes, and, you know, there are many people in the current administration, you know, across the board, economic development and others that played a key role, but, you know, Chuck was on the ground floor of this project
Cause I'm
during the,
multitasker.
during the previous administration.
I'm not well liked by everyone, let's just put it that way.
When we were
Good,
negotiating.
then
the
you're doing your
deal,
job right.
started with the demolition and then, you know, continuing to make this a reality in a very challenging, you know, economic, you know, environment, post-COVID, still with, you know, costs of, you know, materials and a shifting housing market. I mean, it's been a very challenging needle to thread. And so I really think that, you know,
And there's a lot of things that people don't know too about this thing, is like this 50,000, they wanted 118. Said no way.
Right.
Okay, we negotiated it down to 50, although 50 sounds like a lot of money to everybody. It's, you know, what their true cost is. It was me getting on the phone with some of their vendors and saying, can't do this. You know, you're talking about a month, you gotta make it happen.
I mean, this project is probably one of the largest public-private projects Binghamton's has ever seen. And, you know, a project of this magnitude, close to $50 million. I mean, that is, you know, going to take several years to put together, to get off the drawing boards, construction. I mean, it's not, you know, people, you know, some people think these things just kind of happen overnight, and that's just not the way, but, you know, we've all stuck with it, and this is a very, very positive outcome that's gonna be truly transformative, you know, for the city of Binghamton.
It's huge.
This will be a huge
It's
project down there. And I think the other thing too, that is a little bit different than what we talked about before. It's anticipated that come October, November, the housing units are, the part of that's gonna be going on too. So,
You talking about this year?
yes. It's at this point, in order to make this thing work for everybody. The housing unit's been sold that. If you're gonna wait a year to do this, you're gonna pay all this extra money.
Yeah.
Okay, if you do it,
Costs.
as we're building the garage and you start putting it on, you're saving hundreds of thousands of
Okay.
dollars. So. there's-
Oh, no, it's, looks like it's gonna be first class and we're doing it right. It's gonna be exciting. When people start seeing, you're gonna start construction another month or so, is that what you said?
Hopefully next week, maybe 2
Okay,
weeks.
I mean, right then and there, you get the cameras there and let people see the progress.
You have a crane there right off the bat?
I don't know if we'll have a big crane. We'll have something to start pounding piles in the ground that has to go. That's the first aspect of it.
So unless you guys have anything else, I'll make motions to.
I-
approve. Chris,
Second.
All in favor? So moved. Resolution 23-9, a resolution of the City of Binghamton Water Street Development Corporation to authorize the president to enter into an agreement with CJS Architects for the additional amount not to exceed $33,900 for the change order number 2 to the design work related to the Water Street parking garage project.
Let me explain what this is. So. In trying to figure out to make this whole thing work for everybody. There was originally gonna be 3 elevators, okay? Which if you take it. Where you enter Boscov's now, like into the men's store. That's where this elevator would be to go up 5 stories, and that would be what handled all the garage activity, okay? There's 2 other ones in the middle of the garage that would go up 10 floors that the garage wouldn't use, but only the people of the residents would be able to use. What we ended up doing here is we cut the one off at the corner of Bosca, so there's only 2 elevators in the middle. Parking garage people will be able to access floors 1 through 5. Housing units can go up 1 through 10. They'll have a special card that will allow them to override the elevator to go up to a higher level. When
so
you're talking,
you got from 3 to 2, is that what you said?
we went from 3 to 2.
Okay.
And
And one-
sharing the elevator.
One is exclusively for housing and one is for both or not?
Both of them will be for both,
Both
okay?
of them will be for both.
Key to get it.
But the housing people will have a card that will allow that elevator to go past the 5th floor for them. And to make this change was 33,900. Now, just so you know, I haven't agreed to 33,900. I told them I'd do 25 and wouldn't go penny higher,
Well,
but they
because
have,
it saves them an elevator.
well, it's.
cost of it, of putting in a
This is
third
just for the
elevator.
people that do the design work to change it,
Oh, okay.
okay? And, you know, it's saving the city probably about $500,000.
For the elevator?
Yeah. In this whole process, because now we're sharing the cost. Instead of building one elevator for 500,000. Okay, we're sharing the cost of two of them.
I'll make a motion.
So get them bulldog. Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any other updates you wanna do? Are we good?
I think, we hopefully will have an announcement with the mayor and the builders, hopefully next week. Maybe 2 weeks away, but it should be very shortly, but we also, I think we talked about the pilot here, right? Did we talk about that?
I don't think we have, definitely not since we figured everything out.
So the pilot that we're doing with the housing unit is a different animal than what the city's used to, the county's used to, the school district's used to. That podium, okay, it has to be built at the time we're doing the garage. Okay, if you don't, instead of paying 3 million, it might be $4 or $5 million, because you have to pay for all new cranes to come in, buy different materials and stuff. So the object from, this is not recent, this is from day one, is the city would build that, or the Water Street Development would build that podium roughly for $3 million. The housing unit would pay us back for that over the length of the housing unit, the bond, which is gonna be 25 to 30 years. Okay, so that's part of the pilot bond. So for simplistic purposes, let's just say that the pilot is, the housing unit is gonna pay $500,000 a year in a pilot. The first portion of that is going to pay off that pilot bond, which might be 250,000. The rest will go into the pool to be allocated between the school district, county, and city. Okay, since that first 250 is going someplace else, we have to have the school district approve the pilot separately, the county, the city legislature, city council, and the IDA. Okay, so we're going through that process right now. I think on June 5th, we're going to City Hall, asking,
Council's
presenting
not
this pilot to city
Yeah. How
council.
much of, what is the pilot?
I'll send it to you. I don't know. I don't want to speak off the top of my head.
Just out of curiosity.
I could tell you this, that the school district's gonna get over the 25 years that they would participate in this, they're gonna get like $2 million. Okay,
What is currently a non-tax generating property.
and the reason you have to do this, and you guys can understand this, some people probably can't. But if you were to assess those apartments at what they're being built for, and they would be paying over, I think Jeff Smetana told me, be like $2,500 a month for taxes on each one of those buildings. Couldn't rent them out.
Yeah, well, the tax burden would be.
Yeah.
Per unit, right?
He said we'd be charging $4,000 a month rent, just in most of it to cover the taxes, forget about the building of it. So the pilots, you know, absolutely necessity. I know, we've done a lot of talking with county legislators, the school district, IDA.
Is it a progressive
Yes,
pilot?
yes. The actual pilot is pretty much built just the way 50 Front Street was. Very similar to that one, except for,
27 years there too?
but the difference is that the first portion of it's paying the pilot bond that we're doing to put the podium on.
Through the whole process. I mean, through the
Yes.
whole 25, 27 years.
Yes. Yes. That's the length of the bond that we're borrowing. That should go into effect.
Yeah. I mean,
So how much is that rent gonna generate a year that doesn't generate a thing now?
Right,
It's still gonna generate a ton of money for.
Well, that, the goal is to have that cover the cost of building.
Yeah, no,
That's-
Does that look like it's feasible?
what's that?
Have the
or minimize, have a very low subsidy.
Yeah,
The answer to your question, Christopher, is the parking garage gonna be self-sufficient? It would have been prior to COVID, okay, with the interest rates right now. It's not gonna be, okay? But after 5 years, we can refinance the bond, and if interest rates go back to where they were, it will. So,
Yeah, we turned over, I think, every rock
I
and
didn't hear-
ability to get this thing financed in the current environment with interest rates. And this ultimately with National Development Council, the IDA, Chuck, the city, all of our people coming together, this is what we ended up with. And I think it's the right thing to do. It's certainly more complicated than we wanted it to be.
it's a
when
lot
we
more
first started this
complicated.
project. But the reality is the world's very different when we started this project. Costs reflect that.
We have
need housing.
tested every single one of our attorneys on this one, I can tell you that.
Yeah, well, how's the pilot different than what we were talking about a couple of years ago?
It's not.
That's what I
it's
thought.
just
But-
an interest rate.
The money.
I thought
The
we,
interest rate is.
the
but
interest
yeah.
rate makes the whole thing higher.
Yeah, right.
The biggest difference is I wasn't aware that we had to go to those. school
Well,
districts.
I remember that, yeah. It was a possibility.
Yes,
We had to
and
go.
that's a
and-
reality.
Yeah, and that's fine.
And I mean, I think we basically heard through the IDA that if everybody agrees with it, they would agree with it.
Yeah.
Does Pike have a time limit before they can sell it? Are they obligated to keep it for
Pike
5
doesn't-
years or anything like?
Pike's not really gonna own the housing. It's gonna be a place called United. Is the United, UB LLCs. It, guy's name is Mike Mussolini. Rich met him once, when we were coming back through Albany one day.
Yeah, we met with them, put this together.
I think if you look at his properties, Chris, he's not one of the guys that turns stuff over. Okay, at least from the conversations and the dealings that I've seen, this is basically. He's building things for his kids and his grandkids now. And he's building it for them to manage it.
Just one more question on the 27 or 25 or 27 year pilot. Once that is over with. Do they stay at that progressed rate that they end up at?
Yes. Probably a higher rate at that point.
Can they reapply at that point for another pilot?
I don't know that they
Not
could
a
at that
pilot,
point.
but maybe
I mean, we
They
don't
can
even
go,
know
they
what
can
the-
argue their assessment at that time. That's
yeah,
what they're,
25 years.
Yeah, I don't know what the
to
world's
build
gonna
into
look like in 25
Yeah,
years.
right.
Well,
Might have totally new.
You're in
financial
charge.
rules.
we're gonna meet back here in 25 years. aren't we?
it. Yeah, I hope, yeah, I'll fill it for the year.
But yeah, I mean, having
I'll
having
visit.
over.
Do I sign this?
In downtown
Put my
is.
name on.
No,
We
you,
need the housing.
you are the president of this board, so the secretary will sign this.
All right.
so I do.
Thank you
This
for,
is at the end
thank
of,
you. I
think this is at the end of the ropes to move this thing forward ASAP.
Look at all the experience you're getting and stuff you never thought you'd get experience in.
I hope to never again.
Well, I mean, this is a phenomenal,
It is, I mean, when this is done, this is gonna be incredible for downtown, just getting, as we've seen post-COVID and the, kind of the fall of the use of office space, we need people to live in downtown who are working remotely. They get a 2-bedroom and they're, working out of one and living out of the other, and they're getting their coffee and their lunch and they're going to happy hour after work. That's all we can ask for.
well, development's gonna go through the roof once in the next 6 months.
Yeah.
You're gonna start seeing things. There's properties down here that all of a sudden are gonna be very attractive. I'm not being funny, we have
No.
attractive properties, but we have a lot of empty storefronts.
Too, and I think even the next 6 months, there's like 5 restaurants slated to come online, so. It's gonna be, I think downtown's definitely making a comeback post-COVID. This is gonna do nothing but. Here's
Probably.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
138,
138.
And
the
Ryan,
original Saul Stearns.
Yeah, right.
Oh, you should put a sign up.
The commemorative marker.
Well, they do, but he's gotta have it painted every week.
I know, it's-
and Ron, you've been here for a long time. Chris has been here a long time. I mean, there's been no development in the city of Binghamton from the late 70s. Until we started building whatever is on Water Street now. Is that what it is? The Twin thing?
Twin Rivers, yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably the first development you had from
And
the,
in 30 years.
yes, I mean, the last thing that was built down here, I think, was probably the arena. maybe Metro Center.
Well, the.
Metro Center was
the-
84, the arena was,
BU's down. south.
73.
Right, but I'm saying,
That was the catalyst, yeah.
but we went years without doing anything
yeah.
down here, and that's what killed the downtown area.
Also, downtowns all over upstate,
Yep.
you know, I mean,
And now that you start making investment, and putting dollars into it,
well, it's all coming together. We still have a large school. And the kids are definitely important, but they wanna eat. You know, if we go another year without a lot of restaurants, you can see it's hurting the restaurants that do exist now. They're not,
slammed.
pardon?
They're slammed.
Well, the one next to Strange Brew is killer.
Yeah.
The one next to it was a craft.
Yeah.
I go by at night and there's sometimes nobody in there,
Hmm.
you know, 3, 4 people. And some nights, you know,
It's
beautiful
like that,
nights,
you
it's
know.
better.
Yeah.
Stone Fox hit and miss. You know, definitely weather driven. You know, we have July Fest, and we're gonna try to have music throughout.
Once you had negative marketing from
Yeah.
whatever happened to the Colonial and Dos Rios, it hurt everybody. You know, you need that, the strong.
Yeah, do we have anything
Motion
else
to
for the,
adjourn.
on the garage?
And then the meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry, call the meeting to adjourn.
Second.
Boy, that took long, you wait for that one.
or adjourn.